Hello, hello. It's Growing Edge Live and Allie Benjamin here. And we are in Virginia. Well, actually just on the border of Virginia and Tennessee. We just crossed the border this morning as we woke up in somewhere in Virginia, and then drove on over to Tennessee and then veered around, and now we're back in Virginia. So good morning here, Growing Edge Live, Allie Benjamin here, and I'm so glad to be here with our virtual community. I'd love it as you jump on to let us know where you're watching from. Where are you this morning? Peace and blessings to you and to your family and to your tribe. Beautiful day here. Just a minute ago, there was a little cardinal over here on the fence right behind me. A little bright red, orangey red cardinal. And I'm wondering what cardinal medicine is. So if any of you have access to the internet, and you can jump on and look, see what animal medicine cardinal is, because that would be fun to know. So, yep, there's Michael. Michael's here with me. We're on the edge of a beautiful lake. Maybe you can find out what lake we're on, Michael, because that would be great. And so welcome to Growing Edge Live, and here we go.
Free my mind, open my heart with the whispers of truth, to live a conscious life, to live a conscious life on the growing edge, on the growing edge.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you, Leslie Monroe, for that beautiful music, that beautiful song, Growing Edge. And welcome, Heather. I see Heather Jacobs, and blessings. I heard about your little puppy, not puppy, your doggy, and sending you lots of love and lots of prayers for healing and peace. So where are you watching from? Let us know. That would be awesome. Whether you're live with us or watching this at a later time, welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to send out a special prayer, a special, why don't we do a little moment of silence, actually. This week has been a huge point, a threshold. We've crossed this very unfortunate threshold of over 200,000 deaths due to COVID here in the United States. And it's just such a hard thing to fathom, to wrap our minds around that many people leaving. And so let's take a moment of silence as we remember all those that have departed, and all of those that have lost a loved one, and all of those that have been healthcare providers in supporting and caring for those that are struggling and suffering with this just awful COVID-19. So let's take a moment of just tuning into love and gratitude for those that have made their transition, for those that have lost someone, and those that are caring for those that are ill. Peace and blessings to you all. So here we are, and today my talk title is The Promise of Discontent. And I've had plenty of opportunities to put to practice this, to put my money where my mouth is, to actually walk this talk of mine, as I have been really feeling into that place of discontent. We're so conditioned to be discontent, aren't we? We're so conditioned to be disappointed. We're so conditioned in general. But this, I've been really dissecting this. What is discontent? And I found in my discovery, in my studies, in my exploration of this this word discontent and the feeling of discontent and the emotions that come up because of it, I realized that within the discontent, there is a promise. There is a promise. And a promise, doesn't a promise sound rich and full and joyful? And it sounds like there's a gift in a promise. And so as I looked up the definitions of promise is a declaration that a particular thing will happen. A promise is a declaration that a particular thing will happen. Now, discontent is the lack of contentment or dissatisfaction with one's circumstances. How many of us feel dissatisfied with our circumstances? You just have to open up a magazine, put on the television, and you are bombarded with these images of what women need to look like, what men should look like, what kind of money we should be generating, what kind of things we should be accumulating, what kind of goods, what kind of career we should be having. So when we look out there, when we turn on the media, when we explore, when we look out at our neighbors, even comparing ourselves to what the Joneses have, all of that can really stir up this feeling of discontent. Even Facebook, love you Facebook, you can go on, and if you haven't got enough likes, or nobody looked at your post, or you may have put something on there that really meant so much to you, and then it kind of just went down the feed and no one noticed it, what happens? I know for me, there can be a feeling of discontent, like, oh, what a disappointment. I really felt like that might make a difference, that people might see that I had a good intention, or see that I had a good thought, or a thought that might be helpful, or posted a picture of something I did that was so much fun, and then there's that disappointment when we don't get the feedback from out there that we hoped we would have. So that's the thing. We're discontent when we're looking out there, when we're projecting our good out there, and then we don't get confirmation of it, and then we fall into that spiral of feeling below the line, discontent, dissatisfied, disempowered. There's a lot of unhealthy or not very nice words, aren't there? So what does contentment or content mean? Looked it up, and it says in a state of peaceful happiness. Discontent, lack of contentment, dissatisfaction with one's circumstances, and then contentment, a state of peaceful happiness. I definitely vote for contentment. And so my talk or my message or my inspiration today is the promise of discontent. The promise of discontent. So what could possibly be a promise, which is a declaration that a particular thing will happen? What could be the promise of discontent? Because we're so used to labeling things negative and then, trying to push those things away. But what if we embrace discontent for a moment? What if we say discontent could be for me? Discontent could hold a promise or a gift, something. What could that possibly be? What I know is my discontent is a reminder of what I don't want to experience. I'm discontent, so it's a reminder of what I don't want. So when I know what I don't want, I know what I do want. And so when I know what I do want, what I feel will bring me a sense of peaceful happiness or contentment, then I can direct my thoughts, my words, my actions, my energy, my intention along that line of what I do want. So the promise of discontent is that contentment or peaceful happiness is not only possible, but it's our natural state of being. Contentment is our natural state of being. But the illusion, the news, our neighbors, those good, well-motivated people in our family have us convinced, possibly, that we need something different, that we're not content. Well, it's BS. It's a belief system. Because if we tune into our natural state of peaceful happiness, our natural state of contentment, we can not only survive, but thrive. We can transcend this barely holding on experience that we have when we're looking outside of ourselves for happiness and contentment. And we can find that within ourselves. Because it's so common that we're discontent, dissatisfied, disapproving, disempowered. But it's an illusion. It's not true. It's the ego. It's that part of us that edges God out all the time if we let it have the bigger voice in our head. So I've come up with a word that will, it's 7 letters that will absolutely take us out of discontent to the promise that it holds, which is contentment. So here we go. C stands for centeredness. So in order to be in our power, in order to harness our co-creativity, to step into our natural state of being as co-creators, as centers for the universe, centers for spirit to broadcast through us a beautiful life, centers for us to bring forth that which is not only possible, but our natural way of being. We're co-creators with this natural force of energy. We're co-creators with spirit. So when we connect, when we're centered in that awareness, when we're comfortable and at home in that place of connectedness with everything. So C stands for connected. When we wake up to our co-connected nature, our co-creativity. There's lots of great C words that you can use for this word content. C-O-N-T-E-N-T. The first letter C stands for connect, connected, centered, comfortable. And so when we feel that way, when we feel centered in ourself, it's as though we bring all of our energies back in to the center of our being. We center ourselves in our heart. When we're centered in that place, just hearing these words come out of my mouth gives me a sense of contentment. So we center ourselves. The O stands for open, open-hearted, open-minded, open to our oneness. Another great O word, oneness. So we're centered in our oneness. We're centered, we're open. We're open to what? Not what everyone else is doing, but we're centered and open to what's happening here. What's happening in this body? What's happening? Lots of little mosquitoes. What's happening right here in this moment, centered and open to what's happening in this body, in this soul. And so we begin to be self-identified as a point of creation. We're not looking out there, because when we get confused by looking outside of ourselves, then we've kind of lost our place of sovereignty, our place of power, our place in the universe that says, I am self-governing, I am independent. Nothing that occurs out there need distract me from this centered oneness that I'm feeling right now. And so we stand, we occupy, another great O word, we occupy our sovereignty. So we're connected, we're occupying our sovereignty, we're open to that. And then N stands for needless. Needless. So we become needless. We don't need anything to be different for us to be content. We don't need anyone to behave a certain way or do a certain thing. We don't need anything. We don't need that soulmate or that that new car, or we don't need our kids to be a certain way, or our parents to act in a particular way, or we don't need any material objects that are going to somehow make us feel better about ourselves. We don't need to lose weight. We don't need to gain weight. We don't need to cover up our gray hair. We don't need anything. We're just sovereign and self-contained in our spiritual identity. And that is, of course, we have physical needs. We need to eat. We need sunlight. We need water. There's a lot of things we need on a physical level. That's not what I'm talking about when I say needless. We're needless in the spiritual sense. We don't need anything to realize, to occupy our oneness, our co-creative powers, our sovereignty. So we're needless. And then the fourth letter is T. And this stands for thinking. We have this the amazing power of our mind. We are thinking beings. We're conscious of being conscious. We get to choose the thoughts we think. We get to stand guard at the door of our mind, as Emerson said. We get to stand guard at the door of our mind, and we get to choose thoughts that align with those things that bring us a sense of contentment, peace, harmony, creativity, beauty. And as we start to think about things that align with that particular vibration, as we start to pay undistractable attention to that which is eternal, as we start to use our mind, focus our attention, we unleash these amazing capacities of the mind, our memory, our imagination, our intuition, and we begin to use our mind in a way that the common person, the average individual, doesn't. The common or average individual, and sometimes we're in that place, lets their minds be the master. No, in this place of co-creative power, we get to be the masters of our mind. So T stands for thinking. And then E. E stands for engaged. We're engaged, so we're connected, we're centered, we're occupying that space of open-hearted oneness. We're needless, we don't need a thing, we're sovereign beings, we're masters of our mind, and we're engaged. E stands for engaged. We're engaged with what's happening around us. We don't deny the physical is happening, but we respond from our most spiritually mature place. We respond with a sense of, what is this for me? What can I learn from this? How can this, whatever's happening, this person, this place, this situation, this circumstance, how can this instruct me to step into my most spiritually mature response? A loving response, a kind response, a polite response, a generous response, a response of grace. How can I engage in life and allow grace to flow through me? Grace is a movement of the universe, a movement of spirit that occurs when you're receptive to it. Grace is a movement that happens in our lives in spite of ourselves, in spite of our ego self, in spite of that part of us that would block it sometimes. That's why we do this 7 steps to content or contentment. We connect, we open, we're needless, we master our thinking, and we're engaged, we're responsive to life. And then N stands for nourished. We realize the nourishment that life gives us. We don't take things for granted. We realize what brings us this, not the food that our bodies need, but the nourishment that our soul needs, the vibration, the energy, the synergy that happens when we're in this place of contentment, when we're realizing the promise of discontent. And we're realizing we're open, we're available, we're occupying that place for grace to flow through us, and we allow this nourishment, this manna from heaven to flow through us. And I think of this beautiful infinity movement, this infinity symbol, and imagine it coming up through the throat, out through the pineal gland, and down into the heart, down through the sacral and up. And so this infinity symbol, and you can do this in your meditations, is moving through, up and around the body, balancing the Ida and the Pingala, the energy centers, the movement of prana in the body, and we engage in that cycle of nourishment, and we feel it in our body. It's inner engineering, it's moving the energy within us, and we do this. We move this nourishing life force energy through us with every breath. So CONTEN and then T. T is the last word in letter in my word content, my 7 steps that I'm sharing with you today. And can you guess what the last T stands for? It only makes sense to my heart, and to yours, I'm sure. It's thankfulness. Thankfulness, thanksgiving. So we end this beautiful 7-step activation with thanksgiving, with thankfulness, feeling treasured. When we feel treasured, when we feel our own worth, when we feel self-love, when we feel that treasured nature that we have, we feel treasured, we feel thankful. When we love ourselves, the invisible vibration we put out is a vibration of thankfulness. And gratitude, thankfulness, is aside from love, is the most magnetic force in the universe. So when we're in that space of thanksgiving, when we're in that space of gratitude, when we're feeling treasured, then we emit this aura, this beautiful fragrance of compassion, of treasured, of thankfulness, of thanksgiving. And then we just live naturally in that flow of contentment, a peaceful happiness that is always moving and happening. And that's who you are. You're then a walking prayer. You've transcended the world of effects in the spiritual sense. You're in the world but not of the world. You're a prayer without ceasing. You're moving in harmony with the fundamental order of the universe. You are a blessing to the world. You are a blessing to the planet. You have opened up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light from within. That's what you are, a luminous love light. And you've unleashed it. So let's unleash it together with this activation, with this prayer. Closing the outer eyes, going within, and taking a deep breath and relaxing. And let's do that figure 8 visualization, seeing this infinity symbol moving through the back of the head and moving forward through the pineal gland, and then down, meeting in the heart center, then moving down through the back, through the base of the spine, through the root chakra, and up, brushing up against each chakra, then meeting in the heart, and then coming back up, and then doing that continuous figure 8, that infinity, balancing the energy within you, finding that inner engineering that is possible when we, through our intention, move our energy. Through our intention, connect with the eternal broadcast of love that is always happening. That unconditional love, unconditional peace, unconditional freedom that is unleashed when we realize our inner light, our luminescence. And so as we connect with the one power, the one presence, the one infinite creative potential, call it God, call it spirit, the sacred mystery, Christ consciousness, omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence. That's what we are now. And so in this awareness, in this realization, hear the cicadas helping us to center into this oneness, bring us fully into this place of sovereignty, knowing that our words have power. And I speak my word for each and every one listening. I speak my word with absolute confidence that right where we are, each one of us, we are connected, we are centered, we are comfortable in our openness, in our open-hearted place in the universe that says there is only one life, one power, one presence, and we are it, each one of us. We are needless. There is nothing that we need to bring us into this place of absolute possibility and potentiality that is each and every one of ours birthright. Until we open up and we embrace infinite possibilities. We embrace that which we are becoming. Peaceful, centered happiness, contentment. And as we master our minds, as we bring our thoughts into a place of joy and peace and harmony, when we're completely engaged in that awareness, engaged in our co-creative potential, when we're feeling that full nourishment, there's contentment. It's happening right now. As we engage, as we occupy contentment, we breathe, we feel nourished, completely nourished by our life, all that has been in the past, all that is happening now, and all that is yet to come, knowing that everything is for us, everything is nourishing us on one level or another. Even those things that we could label as not so good, we know that we have been given gifts. Each and every challenge has merely been an opportunity to step into our greater light. And so we give thanks. We give thanks for all that we receive, all that we've received, and all that we're yet to receive. And we know it's in the receiving, it's in the acknowledgement of our receiving that we say thank you, and it's in that acknowledgement that we give. And we give. And we give. Why? Because we have enough. We have plenty. That is our natural state of being, is to receive and to give, to receive and to give and receive. And this is the promise of discontent. So we embrace the promise. We say thank you for all we've received. And we step fully, wholeheartedly into contentment, into peaceful happiness, knowing that it is ours. And we get to choose it each and every moment. We do this wholeheartedly. And let's join in this atmosphere of gratitude, this atmosphere of appreciation, as we release this prayer, we release this activation, saying, thank you, Spirit of Life. Thank you. Thank you for this contentment that I'm feeling, bubbling up, flowing over. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And send this blessing out to all sentient beings. All sentient beings, that they be free of pain and suffering. All sentient beings, that they feel strength, strong, safe and secure, healthy, happy, and live and love with ease, just like me, just like we. So I release this prayer, release this light through me now, knowing that it is good and very good. It is done, and together we say, and so it is. Thank you. Peace and blessings to you. If you would like to support our Growing Edge ministry, the Satya Center, you can go to Venmo and send us a donation to Satya Center, SATYACENTER, Satya Center on Venmo. We love you, we appreciate you, and we thank God for you. Mwah. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.